Let me start by destroying the biggest lie you've been told about arm training. Here's what nobody wants to hear. Your arms are small because you're weak. Not, oh, you need to build mind-muscle connection weak. I mean, you literally cannot move enough weight on compound movements to force your arms to grow. And I'm not trying to be a dick here. I was weak too. I spent a year doing 15 sets of bicep work twice a week. My arms stayed at 14.5 inches. I'd curl 25-pound dumbbells. Really focus on the squeeze. Feel that pump. Take progress photos. Nothing. Meanwhile, I'd half-ass my back workouts because I thought they were just for, my back. Then I got serious about my pull-ups and rows. I went from struggling with 5 pull-ups to doing sets of 12 with a 25-pound plate hanging from my waist. I barely changed my bicep isolation work. My arms grew to 16 inches in 6 months. That's the difference. Your biceps get more growth stimulus from heavy rows and pull-ups than they ever will from curls. Your triceps get more from heavy pressing than they'll ever get from rope pushdowns. This isn't even controversial. This is basic anatomy. Think about it like this. A heavy barbell row forces your biceps to hold 185 pounds in a stretched position for 8 reps. That's 1,480 pounds of total work. Your bicep curls with 25-pound dumbbells? That's 500 pounds of total work across a full set. The mechanical tension isn't even close. And mechanical tension is what tells your muscles to grow. Not the pump. Not the burn. Tension. Here's the problem. Most people train arms on their own day with maximum effort. Then they show up to back day and chest day already tired and just go through the motions. They're doing it backwards. Your back and chest workouts should be the hardest training sessions of your week because that's where your arms are actually getting built. The isolation work is just the cherry on top. So if you can't do 10 strict pull-ups with just your body weight, your biceps don't have the foundation to grow past 15 inches. If you aren't benching at least your body weight for reps, your triceps won't have the stimulus they need. Those aren't random numbers. Those are the baseline strength levels where your arms actually start responding to isolation work. Below that, you're just spinning your wheels. I know what you're thinking. But Winnie, I see guys with huge arms who can't do pull-ups. Cool. Those guys are either on gear, have been training for 10 years and built that base already, or they're genetic freaks. You're not in that 1%. Neither am I. So we do it the hard way. Here's what you do. For the next 12 weeks, your number one goal isn't arms. It's getting strong as hell at pull-ups, rows, bench press, and overhead press. Aim for these benchmarks. 10 strict pull-ups, 5 chin-ups with a 25-pound plate. Bench press your body weight for 8 reps. Overhead press 135 pounds for 5 reps. Hit those numbers, and I promise your arms will be bigger without changing anything else. But even if you fix that, there's still reason number 2. And this one's going to piss you off because it's about something you're probably not even tracking. Reason number 2. You're doing arm day, and arm day is stupid, at least for natural lifters who are stuck at 15 inches. Here's why. Your arms are small muscles compared to your back, chest, and legs. They recover way faster. So when you hammer them with 15 sets in one session, yeah, you get a sick pump. But then what? You wait a whole week to train them again? Meanwhile, they've fully recovered in 48 hours and spent the other 5 days doing nothing. Think of muscle growth like watering a plant. You can dump a whole gallon on it once a week, and most of that water just runs off. Or you can water it with a cup 3 times a week, and the plant actually absorbs it. Your arms are the plant. Stop drowning them once a week. You've probably heard muscles need 48 to 72 hours to recover. That's true for big muscles like your quads after heavy squats. But your biceps after a few sets of curls? They're ready to go the next day. Research shows that muscle protein synthesis, that's the actual process of building muscle, peaks around 24 to 48 hours after training. For small muscles like biceps and triceps, it's on the shorter end. So by training them only once a week, you're leaving gains on the table for 5 days straight. The sweet spot for arm volume is 15 to 20 sets per week total. But here's the key. Split that across 3 to 4 sessions, not all at once. So instead of doing 20 sets on arm day, you do 4 to 6 sets of biceps and 4 to 6 sets of triceps 3 times per week. Same total volume, way better results. And each session should be submaximal. You're not training to complete failure every set. One hard session where you push close to failure. 2 moderate sessions where you leave a couple reps in the tank. That's how you accumulate volume without accumulating so much fatigue that you can't recover. Here's what changed everything for me. I stopped doing dedicated arm day. Instead, I did 4 sets of biceps after back workouts on Monday and Thursday, and 3 sets after a light upper day on Saturday. Same with triceps. 4 sets after chest, 3 sets after shoulders, 3 sets on leg day while I was resting between squats. That's 10 sets of biceps and 10 sets of triceps per week, but spread across multiple days. My arms grew more in 3 months than the previous year of hammering them once a week. If you're doing full body 4 times per week, add 3 sets of biceps and 3 sets of triceps to the end of each session. If you're doing upper-lower split, add 4 to 5 sets of direct arm work to each upper day. The key is frequency. You want to hit your arms when they're fresh, multiple times per week, with enough volume to stimulate growth, but not so much that you can't recover before the next session. I know what you're thinking. But all the big bodybuilders do arm days. Yeah, and they're also taking enough gear to grow a third arm. You're natural. The rules are different. A natural lifter needs to train smarter because your recovery capacity is limited and your muscle building potential is way lower. So you can't just copy what enhanced bodybuilders do and expect the same results. Look, I'm not saying arm days don't work ever. I'm saying that for most natural lifters stuck at 15 inches, arm days are keeping you small. It's too much volume at once, not enough frequency, and you're probably training them when you're already exhausted from the rest of your workout. Switch to higher frequency, lower volume per session, and watch what happens. All right, so that's 2 reasons down, but here's the plot twist. Reason number 3 has nothing to do with training, and it's probably the most important one. Reason number 3, and this is the one that's going to make you close the video. Your arms aren't growing because you're not eating enough. And no, I don't mean you need to hit your protein target. I mean you're not in a calorie surplus long enough for your arms to actually grow. Here's the thing, nobody tells you. You cannot build appreciably bigger arms while maintaining visible abs. I'm not saying you need to get fat. I'm saying if you're 170 pounds at 12% body fat and you've been stuck there for 8 months because you're scared of losing your abs, your arms aren't going anywhere. You've built the foundation with compound strength. You've fixed your training frequency. But if you're eating at maintenance, or worse, in a deficit, none of that matters. It's like trying to build a house, but you only ordered enough bricks to maintain the foundation. To go from 15-inch arms to 16-inch arms, you typically need to gain 10 to 15 pounds of total body weight. Not 10 pounds of pure muscle. 10 to 15 pounds total, which means muscle, water, some fat. This means being in a 200 to 300 calorie surplus for 6 to 12 months. You'll probably go from 12% body fat to 16 or 18% during this process. After the growth phase, you can cut back down and keep most of the arm size. That's how it works for natural lifters. Remember how I said you need to get strong at compounds and train arms 3 times per week? None of that creates growth without a surplus. You can have perfect training, and your arms still won't grow, because growth requires energy. Your body won't build new tissue if it thinks resources are scarce. You need to consistently signal that food is abundant. Now, some of you are skinny fat, like 20% body fat, but still small arms. Should you bulk? Here's my advice. If you're over 20% body fat, cut down to 15% first. Get lean enough that you can see some AB definition, then bulk. Why? Because if you bulk from 20%, you'll end up at 25% and feel like shit. Then you'll panic cut and lose the arm gains. But if you start at 15%, you can bulk to 18% and still look decent in a shirt. You won't have abs, but you won't look sloppy either. You've seen those transformation videos. I built huge arms while getting shredded. Yeah, those guys are either beginners riding newbie gains, coming back after time off so they have muscle memory, or they're not natural. For the average intermediate lifter who's been training 2 to 3 years, you need to pick, get leaner or get bigger arms. You can't do both simultaneously. Not as a natural lifter stuck at 15 inches. This is where most people quit. They want 16-inch arms and visible abs, and to weigh the same as they do right now. That's not how it works. You want bigger arms? You're going to have to eat more, train heavier, and yes, probably lose your abs for a while. Then you cut back down and reveal the bigger arms you built. That's the game. Accept it or stay stuck. Don't start with the, but I saw this guy on YouTube who stayed shredded and built huge arms. I don't care. I'm talking about you, sitting there right now with 15-inch arms wondering why they won't grow. The answer is, you're not eating enough to grow them. If the thought of losing your abs for a year makes you want to cry, then accept that your arms probably aren't going to grow much. That's fine. You can maintain where you are, look lean, and be happy. But don't complain that your arms won't grow if you're not willing to do what it takes. Okay, so those are the 3 big reasons. But before I let you go, let me cover a couple other things that matter. Not as much as those 3, but they'll help you maximize everything. Real quick on nutrition, since I know someone's going to ask. You need at least 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. Not 0.8, not around that. 1 gram minimum. If you weigh 180 pounds, eat 180 grams of protein every day. Spread it across 3 to 4 meals. And like I said before, you need to be in a 200 to 300 calorie surplus. Find your maintenance with a TDEE calculator. Add 250 calories and stick to it for at least 3 months before you judge if it's working. Don't change it after 2 weeks because you got nervous about your abs. And sleep. This should be obvious, but most of you are getting 6 hours a night and wondering why you're not growing. Your arms grow when you sleep, not when you lift. Get 7 to 8 hours minimum. I don't care if you have to go to bed at 10 p.m. like a child. Do it. If you're only sleeping 5 to 6 hours, you're wasting your time in the gym. Recovery is when adaptation happens. Training is just the stimulus. Without proper recovery, there's no adaptation. As for which exercises to do, it matters less than you think. Weighted chin-ups and close grip bench press are probably the best bang for your buck movements. Add in some hammer curls for the brachialis, overhead triceps extensions for the long head, and you're good. Don't overthink it. The exercise doesn't matter if you're not strong enough, training frequently enough, or eating enough to grow. I've seen guys build great arms with just pull-ups, dips, and 2 curl variations. I've also seen guys do 20 different arm exercises and stay small forever because they ignored the fundamentals. If you train at home, you need dumbbells that go heavy enough. At minimum, adjustable dumbbells up to 50 pounds per hand. If you're serious, get a pull-up bar and a dip belt so you can do weighted pull-ups and dips. That's all you need to build big arms. Don't let anyone tell you that you need a full gym. You don't. You just need the ability to progressively overload basic movements. And let's talk time frame, because I know you want to know. If you fix all three of these things, get stronger at compounds, train arms 3 times per week, eat in a surplus, you can realistically add 1 inch to your arms in 6 to 12 months. That's 15 inches to 16 inches in a year. Not exciting, but it's realistic. After that, it gets harder. Going from 16 to 17 might take another year or two. This is a marathon, not a sprint. Anyone promising faster results is either lying or selling you something. All right, let's wrap this up. So let's recap. Your arms won't grow past 15 inches because 1, you're not strong enough at compound movements. 2, you're doing too much volume at once and not training them frequently enough. 3, you're not eating enough to actually grow them. Fix those 3 things and your arms will grow. Ignore them and you'll be stuck at 15 inches forever. Here's the reality. Most people watching this will nod their head, think, yeah, that makes sense, and then do nothing. They'll keep doing arm day once a week, eating at maintenance to keep their abs, and wondering why nothing changes. Don't be like most people. I told you at the start this would be harder to hear than do more curls. Building 16-inch arms means accepting that you're going to have to eat more, train differently, and probably lose your abs for a while. That's not sexy advice, but it's the truth. You can either chase the pump and stay small, or you can get strong, train smart, eat enough, and actually grow. The choice is yours. Pick one thing to fix this week. Add heavy pull-ups and rows to your program, or split your arm volume across 3 days instead of 1, or add 250 calories to your daily intake. Just pick one and start. You don't need to overhaul everything at once. Small changes compound over time. That's how you go from 15 inches to 16, then 16 to 17. One decision at a time, one workout at a time, one meal at a time. Your arms aren't small because of bad genetics or because you're doing the wrong curl variation. They're small because you haven't built the foundation yet. Now you know what that foundation looks like. Get strong. Train frequently. Eat enough. Do those 3 things consistently for 6 to 12 months, and you'll finally break through that plateau. The information is simple. The execution is hard. But you already knew that. Brick by brick. No shortcuts.